Harry Reid just came out and did a floor speech yesterday about how perhaps Senators Tom Udall and Jeff Merkley were right that they should have basically ended the filibuster at the beginning of the last term. Now, this is amazing for a number of reasons. First of all, the Democrats have held the Senate for now close to 6 years. In all that time, the Republicans have been blocking legislation endlessly. Filibuster after filibuster after filibuster on almost every bill, right? And now we're headed into elections, and it looks like there's at least a very good chance the Democrats might lose the majority in the Senate, and hence they would be able to filibuster because they would be in the minority. And Harry Reid is now talking about giving it up entirely. Well, that makes me think what I've been telling you all along, but it's amazing how the process works. So what is it that I think? Well, I think the Democrats are paid to lose. I think they're the Washington Generals. I think they're the incompetent clowns that are out there to get their shorts pulled down by the Harlem Globetrotters as they're getting dunked on, right? So you're telling me all that time and all that Republican obstructionism. Remember, the first 2 years of the Obama administration, the Democrats have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency. They can pass anything they like except for the filibuster. And they don't think to take that away at that point. And let me explain the rules here, right? Filibuster is not something that's in the Constitution. It's a Senate rule. In the beginning of every Congress, you have the ability to have a majority vote on that, okay? So you don't need 60 votes. You don't need 2/3 of the votes to change the rules if it's done at the beginning of that congressional term. So, for example, as Merkley and Udall said, at the beginning of the last term, they should have taken away the filibuster from Republicans because they were clearly abusing it. They were breaking every record known to man in terms of the filibuster. It wasn't a thing that the minority did in extreme cases to stand up for their rights. It was something that they now did as a matter of course. Now that the filibuster is abused in this way, should it have been taken away? Yes. Now the Democrats didn't do it. But here comes the leader of the Democrats, the Senate Majority Leader, right before the Republicans might take over, and they might have a Republican president, House, and Senate, tossing up a softball to the Republicans saying, here it is. If you try to take it away when we're in the minority, I totally agree. Oh, for Christ's sake. So, you think the Republicans won't do it? Day one. If they control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and I have no idea whether they will, but if they have all three of those blocks lined up, they'll be like, look at this, Senator Reid agreed. It was two Democrats, Udall and Merkley, who suggested it in the first place. Obviously. Boom, take it away. The minority have no rights. We're going to pass everything right away. You don't think it'll happen? You're not paying attention to politics at all. You don't know what you're doing, so step aside. Let me tell you how it works. Okay? These Democrats, I don't think they wake up in the morning and think, oh, I'm a loser. And I hear somebody paid me a lot of money to go and lose and get my ass beat day in and day out. I don't think Harry Reid thinks, hey, I'm going to go today and my job is to, I punch the clock and then I bend over and have Mitch McConnell spank my ass. Bam, 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 right? But that is in essence exactly what he does. So I don't know how he manages to be the most incompetent person in the world, but I do know that corporate money flows to loser Democrats, and it also flows to incredibly strong, not necessarily right at all, right? But as strong as in forceful Republicans. So in the end, the system has a bunch of Democrats who like to get spanked, and the Republicans who love to do the spanking. So right before the Republicans might take over the Senate, of course, Harry Reid goes, okay, may I please have another, sir? Now you're going to talk about taking away the filibuster. Now! There's no hope in the Democrats. No, look, we've been over this a million times, and I know a lot of good people who, keep telling me, oh, no, Cenk, don't worry, man. If you just get more Democrats in power. More Democrats in power, and that'll do the trick. That's your answer? That answer is incorrect. That is not going to help all they're going to do is, oh, look at that, we changed the rules so 2 Republicans can object to everything we do. They're paid to lose. That is why they are losers. If you put your faith in Democrats to help in any of these issues, you have greatly misjudged the American political system. Money controls everything. Money wants lower taxes. Money wants less regulation. Money wants bankers to run amok. Money doesn't want pollution to be taken care of because they're making money from pollution. They're transferring those costs onto the middle class. This is what's been happening for time immemorial, and they have finally rigged the American system so that we no longer have representative democracy. We have this sham. You know, I just came back from Europe, right? I mean, it's not like this is something new. You know, the reason the kings were so rich and the nobility was in the old days, there were taxes on only the poor and the middle class. So if you were farming the land, well, you were taxed heavily. If you were a merchant, you were taxed. If you were nobility, of course, well, I mean, you might pay taxes to the king, right? But a king ain't gonna pay taxes to nobody else. So taxes flowed up. There was a regressive taxation system where the poorest would pay the most. And nobility loved it. They set that system up and they built their palaces. And you know, and humanity suffered for it, but that's how it rolled. And they would love to reintroduce that system here in the United States. I don't know if you guys remember, but I think we had a revolution against that system. That's my recollection. Okay, but let's keep going this way and see what happens.